the Jake Giffin Podcast.
He's been a drug dealer, a dropout Muay Thai champion, and a corporate salesman, and now political firebrand. He left the cubicle after refusing the COVID jab, lived off grid in the woods, and toured America in an RV, and along the way picked a fight with the entire feminist establishment. Today, he's building a men's movement, preaching that without purpose, a man's life is meaningless. However, can a man who thrives on controversy also heal the divide between the left and the right? Can a former addict really teach purpose in a culture addicted to outrage? And why does he believe masculinity, not compromise, is the cure for today's political chaos? Well, today, Nico Lagan is here with us on the Jake Giffin Podcast. Welcome, Nico. You are, we have a lot in common. We're both Christian. We're both men's advocates. We both enjoy the nice conflict from time to time. Dude, I'm glad you joined us on the podcast. How are you?
Man, I gotta say this is wrong, but I'm gonna say that was a good introduction. Good for you. That's probably the best introduction I've ever had, and I've recorded hundreds, if not thousands, of podcasts and been on some of the biggest platforms in the world. So good for you.
No,
good
thanks,
you,
man.
Well, makes me sound like a...
Sorry to interrupt. Nico Lagan is getting ready to just tell us about masculinity and pump us up in a way that we haven't experienced in a rather long time. I need you to hit the subscribe. We're on our way to 1,000, our first 1,000 subscribers. If you could hit the subscribe button and leave a comment, oh my gosh, that would make YouTube so much happier. And by the time we get to 1,000, this corner here will be the site of our new studio. So hit that now, please.
Nut job. Sorry for my language, but man, putting it all together, I'm like, yep, I have done all those things.
Well, look, man, Muay Thai champion, I think Muay Thai is actual, I think it's probably Thai slang for nut job. You might have some, you got to be kind of an insane person to step into a Thai arena. And
I had no intentions of ever fighting. Yeah? I never had any intentions of fighting. I was bullied when I was young, man. I was a coward. I was bullied. I didn't do anything. I got beat up a few times and I didn't fight back at all. I literally curled in a low ball and allowed the guy to just beat me up. And like you said, I was a drug addict. I was a high school dropout. I sold drugs to support my habits, and I went back to school in my 20s, left everything behind. And when I went to college, I started working out. Like, I was a scrawny kid. I was like, I'm 6'1". I was 145 pounds. Ooh. Right now, I'm still 6'1", but I'm 235 pounds. Yeah. So there's like I'm almost 100 pounds heavier than I was back then. But I discovered the gym at school. They had a free gym as part of the school. So I started working out, and then I started exploring martial arts. I grew up in the 80s. So I watched guys like Jean-Claude Van Damme fight, and I was like, oh yeah, this is so manly. And
I was wondering.
Oh no, 100%. I just watched Bloodsport 2 days ago. What a terrible movie that is. Oh man, is it ever bad? But it was awesome back in the 80s. All to say that I showed up to a bunch of gyms. I tried, your typical stuff, your karate, your taekwondo. I tried boxing. I tried kickboxing, and then I fell on Muay Thai, and I'm like, yup, that's the one. And within a year or two, my instructor saw something in me that I didn't know was there, because I was there just to learn how to defend myself, because I didn't want to be a coward anymore. Next thing you know, I was fighting. I was stepping in a ring and fighting. So, I'm a sales engineer by trade. I was not doing this because this was the only way out. I actually have a brain. You might not know this. It might not look on camera, but actually those books are not fake, right? But yeah, I didn't have to do this, right? I just wanted to, because I needed to prove it to myself, but it scared the hell out of me. Every single fight I was scared. Yeah. And I just did it because my instructor thought I could do it. So I did it. And I have about 10, 12 fights. It's all amateur though. But I became the belt right there. I became North American champ at 165 pounds as an amateur. So yeah.
I mean, isn't there something to be said though about, when most people, when they come to the realization that, I'm living a coward's life, and I'm getting beat up. A lot of people go the opposite way where they've tried to figure, well, all right, so you're in the political world, right?
Mhm.
Politicians typically go the opposite way where they recognize they're cowards in a world filled with survival of the fittest kind of mentality, the animal kind of mentality. And instead of learning how to defend themselves and fight, they hedge themselves in with laws and regulations and things that keep people from being able to touch them. And so, like there's two ways you can go. You went the way I think most men should go, which is I recognize my weakness and I got to lean into it and figure out how not to be weak in that spot. And I don't think most guys do that. So, kudos to you. I think and Muay Thai. By the way, one of the most, not just brutal, but one of the, I love the kicking style. I love
Mhm.
the elbows. I love
Yep.
all the way that art looks, that fighting style. That is, dude, it's and to watch Thais do it,
If
and I'm sure you're probably a savage at it, but to watch the Thais do it since the time they were like 5 years old or something, those,
Oh yeah, those guys are crazy.
those shin
How many
kicks are
times have
nutty.
I seen there was a video the other day where there was a kid, probably 10 years old, 12 years old, coaching a grown man. Like he was a foreigner, he was a white guy in
Mhm.
Thailand, and the coach is just step in, block, throw the elbow. And the video, all you see, the guy steps in the ring, parries the cross, boom, throw the elbow, knocks the guy out. And the whole video is basically to educate foreigners that that kid right there probably has 150 fights already. Don't think that because he's 12 that he doesn't know what he's doing. He has
No,
at least 10 times the fight that grown men have, because in
yeah,
Thailand you don't have a choice. Like they make
nope.
way more money fighting, like way more money fighting than they do working in factories, for example. But
Mhm.
man, you look at guys like Sanchai,
Mhm.
400 fights. Like it makes no sense. You look at
Right.
professional boxing here. People, oh yes, 50 professional fight. Ooh, Thai guys have 50 fights by the time they're 10. Like, are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
right.
Like they start, so, but they're one of the things that is unfortunate that this is not brought here to America is the spirituality aspect of traditional Muay Thai, because Thailand is a Buddhist country. So when it's brought here, they don't bring the Buddhist aspect of things. They bring the martial art, but it's so part of the culture that they don't bring the Buddhist aspect. Like I was
Mm.
taught, I'm a crew, I'm an instructor under one of the two guys that brought Muay Thai from Thailand.
Mm.
There's two Thais that really brought it, as an Ajahn Suchart and Ajahn Berkler,
Mhm.
that brought this to Canada, and I'm an instructor under one. And the instructor that put me into the ring is an instructor under the other guy. So my
Wow.
lineage points to the two original guys that brought Muay Thai in North America,
Oh, that's
but they
awesome.
didn't really bring like the spirituality aspect. It's so
Mhm.
baked in their culture that to them it's normal. But
Right.
that's a part that's missing today. Like as a Christian, there needs to be spirituality attached to martial art. Just like when I hit the
Mhm.
gym, I see you have a gym behind you.
Yeah.
When I hit the gym, I meditate every single time,
Mm.
because I am in a more of an attack mode, because I'm working out. I meditate before I leave the gym to bring me back to center, to bring me back into a
Mhm.
place of
Yeah.
peace, because I'd be very curious to see. I know those studies don't exist, but I'd be curious to see the numbers of incidents that happened with people that just left the gym, that don't take the time to bring it back to center because they don't understand the connection between their mind, their body, and their spirit.
Yeah. Well, I think most real martial artists, I think, bring it back to center. And I think,
You have to.
yeah, I think most guys who recognize the danger and like the hostility involved, like, you take a champion like yourself, no average person is, you run into the average guy in a bar that's drunk or something. It's not a thing, right? Like the guy
No,
he literally cannot do anything to you,
no,
right?
no.
And the kind of destruction that you could do to him is so insurmountable that there's got to be a back to center, a back to grace, kind of back to patience and love kind of situation that we have in Christianity. For one, it's back to this. It, That's why I did jujitsu, Japanese jujitsu back in the day. It's, using the appropriate amount of force to get the control that you need to do as much
Yeah,
damage as you want to or not want to, So bringing it back to
it's a
center, bro.
powerful thing, though. It's such a
Mhm.
powerful. It's something I would suggest every single man, especially young men, should go through his martial art.
Yeah,
Learn how to control yourself, how to become dangerous, but have it under control. Because at the end of the day, protecting your family is the number one thing a man's supposed to do.
for sure.
I will take a bullet for my wife, for my child, and
Yep.
my wife knows this and expect this. This
Yep.
is one of the. I wanted a traditional woman that wants to be a mother. She
Mhm.
expects a traditional man that will, for lack of a better term, that will kill to defend her, and
Yep.
that is not even a consideration. It's
Right.
you you mess with my. There's a possibility that my family's getting hurt. You surrendered your life. Whatever happens from here, I'll talk to God later. I'll try to explain myself.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I'll do my best to try to explain
Yeah.
myself. But my goal, I learned those skills in order to defend her.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I learned to not be a coward. And then I started developing a style that is my own because I did end up doing jujitsu. It's never been my thing. I don't really like being on the ground, but I've
Mm.
learned from some of the best in Canada on how to get back up. Because in
Yeah.
a real fight, you don't want to be on the ground. I don't care that
No.
you're good at jiu-jitsu. I know enough that you're not going to catch me in a dumb submission.
Yeah.
But even a buddy of mine that's he's a brown belt now. He does a lot of security work, never goes to the ground because he's like, how many people have knives? If I'm on the ground, I'm connected to you. Take a knife, beep, 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 beep. You just stabbed me 20 times in the ribs and I'm
Yeah.
going to bleed out. Although I'm better than you, it's not a sport anymore. And
Yeah.
that's the problem with Muay Thai. Muay Thai is a sport. There's rules. There's certain techniques
Mhm.
that are not shown in Muay Thai, which is why if you step out of the ring, it's good to implement other martial arts styles like Krav Maga, for example, that
Mhm.
will enable you to understand how to deal with multiple attackers, how to deal with
Yep.
knives, guns, baseball bat, multiple threat, understand peripheral vision. Because in a ring, you don't really have to worry outside of the corners. You don't want to get trapped in a corner. Or if you're like me and you like to clinch, I like to throw people around. So a
Mhm.
corner is not a bad thing because I will get out the corner by sweeping you around, putting you in
Sure.
the corner and throwing an elbow down the middle.
Mhm.
But in a real fight, you need to be aware of your surrounding. Now, if you start adding VIPs like your family, you
Mhm.
can block on a certain side knowing that the firearm might shoot on the side of your family. So you
Yep.
need to be very situationally aware, and Krav Maga does teach you that. So a
Yeah.
mix of like Muay Thai for the elbows, the knees, the clinch,
Mhm.
Krav Maga for the most front kick to the balls, head buns, how
Yeah.
to block knives, guns, and all the really dangerous stuff, and how to protect your family. Then jiu-jitsu to get back up if you ever end up to the ground, and then you can
Mhm.
go and start taking some training in firearm techniques.
Yeah.
Filipino Cali
Yeah.
on how
Stick
to
fighting.
handle. Oh, well, they train with stick fights, but that's not what it's supposed to be. They're
Mm.
supposed to be swords.
Oh, yeah.
So the point is to use. Not a lot of people want to train with swords, right? It's
Given the choice. Yeah.
but I got a friend of mine that runs a school outside of Toronto, Ontario, and he teaches. He's Filipino. He will teach with the baton with the stick,
Mhm.
but with his most advanced students, they fight with swords. When I went there to record an episode with him because he's a firearm instructor on top of that.
Yeah.
But he allowed me to train with one of his more advanced guys because I don't know anything about Cali stick. Like this is one of the only time that I did it.
Yeah.
But we were playing with swords. He
Yeah.
knew I could handle it, and he knew his advanced partner. But this is very interesting. Shing! That's a different game right there.
Well, you can't. I mean, you can't beat it for the hand-eye coordination. What do you think has been when you go into the arena, into the political arena? Let's say you sit down with the people at Jubilee, or you sit down with some other organization that is less than inviting, right, or less
Sure.
than cordial.
Mhm.
It's this kind of conflict or the kind of places you've put yourself in, fighting, that keep is that you do you attribute that to keeping you calm during those times when you're being attacked emotionally or psychologically?
It plays a massive role. Like I got to tell you, I was a sales engineer selling million contracts. Basically, that was my job, right? I would go into some of the biggest companies in North America, federal government, provincial government, municipal governments, and I would have to do presentations to very important people. But this is such a dimmed down. It's something that's so dimmed down after you had to step in a ring in front of people with a guy that wants to rip your head off your shoulder. You know, there's levels of intensity. And, you know, one of the guys that I met years ago in fighting, his name is Randy Turner. He was in the special forces in the Canadian Army. That's the equivalent of your Navy SEALs, right?
Yeah.
And he fought as an MMA professional for fun. So, you know, there's levels to this game, right? That's the type of guy that did, I can't talk about what he's done, but that's the type of guy you do not want to mess with.
Right.
Most polite people you'll ever meet, super smiley, super nice. You look at his ears, you have an idea. Plus, he's a firearm instructor. He trains the military and police officers. So you know that guy's very, very good at what he does.
Yeah.
But he fought for fun. Like, it's like, I always tell him that it's like, I was bored, so I'm going to fight now. So there's level to this stuff. So military guys fighting, not very impressive for them. I didn't do the military. So fighting is where I compare everything to. And going into a meeting, recording content that ends up in front of millions of people, going to Jubilee when there's a bunch of little men, women that are disagreeing with me. What the hell are they going to do? No, but what are they going to do at the end of the day? They're going to attack me verbally. Okay, I'm smarter and I'm better spoken than you, and I know facts. I don't base my opinions on emotions. Right. So what are you going to do? Intellectually, you can't touch me. Physically, I'm going to rip you a new one. I'll make you my girl.
Yeah.
If I want to, I will make you mine. Girl. Yeah. Oh, I had another word in mind, but I'm trying to be polite here.
No, I know. I appreciate it.
But what are they going to do?
Yeah.
You can't beat me. You cannot beat me intellectually. You cannot beat me physically. What are you going to do? Nothing at all. So this is what fighting allows you, right? You know, what's the worst case scenario? And for most people, the worst case scenario is that they're going to fight. The worst case scenario for me is I have to fight when I should have left. This is the best. This is the worst case scenario. I don't want to end up in jail unless it's worth it.
Right. And you're
a drunk idiot at a bar. I don't go to bars.
Right.
Exactly for that reason. I stopped going to bars because I cannot be put in a situation where a man that thinks he can do something puts his hand on me, because I cannot say that I will necessarily step away.
Yeah,
if you're not a threat, I will walk away. If you are a threat,
you want to hope that you would walk away. But
yeah, but then in certain situations you can.
Yeah,
you cannot walk away. If you grab me, I'm not walking away. But that hand's broken, and you're probably gonna learn what the ceiling looks like from the floor, right?
Yeah, because ideally you'd love to be able to say, yeah, I'm just going to walk away. But there's times when you get a drunk guy out there, some idiot. He's probably in his first year of jiu-jitsu, or he just took a boxing class or something, and he feels like he's kind of like all that. And then he wants to, grab you and look good in front of his friends. And as soon as he grabs you, that's a problem. Better to avoid those situations for sure.
But de-escalation skills is another thing that most martial art instructors won't teach, and yet it's so important to be able to to read a situation, to see just the mannerism, the stance, the way the person is approaching you, the way the person is talking to you. Are they a threat or not? Because if they're not a threat, move away. Just don't never turn your back on somebody that could potentially be a threat. But you don't have to stay there. Your ego has no importance when it comes to staying out of jail for attacking someone that really couldn't do anything about it. My ego, I don't care about my ego. When it comes to that, I don't care. But if you become a threat, that's the thing. I won't. If I perceive you as a threat, I will not wait for you to do something. If I see that you mean what you're saying and I'm not able to de-escalate the situation, I'll throw the first punch, and I'll throw the last one too.
Yeah,
I'm not giving you a chance to hurt me.
Yeah, I think that's a lesson that cops, a lot of law enforcement people could learn, is the de-escalation in a calm, assertive manner. Because what I've noticed, a lot of you end up with a lot of these videos on your feed or something about cops that are being confronted by crazy people or just belligerent people, and you can tell they've never been in that much conflict because their voice gets shaky, their adrenaline starts pumping, they start really kind of losing control of themselves. And the problem with when you start losing control of yourself in that manner, especially in a conflict with somebody who is obviously used to being in conflict, is that, you know, if you look afraid or if you sound afraid, a lot of people will pounce on that. And so cops could learn a lot from being able to de-escalate in an assertive manner.
But that also shows their weakness.
Mm-hmm.
A fact that they know that they don't know.
Yeah.
They know that if it hits the fan, they won't know what to do. Chances are they're not going to be able to pull out their firearm in time either.
Right.
One of the guys that I used to do security work for just I was a sales engineer making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yet Saturday, Sunday, I was off. Friday, Saturday, I was often working as in security, just because I enjoyed it and it kept me away from drinking because I could see what people look like when they're drunk and you're not drunk. You're like, wow, you guys are idiots. But I used to do security work for a next how do you call it? A police squad. So he used to be one of the responders for emergency when the police has to go into a building and to take care of the business there. He was one of them, and he was training future police officers. So I got to attend a few classes that he taught as part of his course, but just because I worked for him, he allowed me to be in the class, and he showed us that if I remember correctly, it's 10 meters. A police officer with a holstered weapon, because a lot of the holstered weapons are not just a kydex that you can just snap out. They need to have the snap on top of the firearm. So there needs to be something that covers the top of the firearm, that covers the trigger, obviously, but you need to unclip it, take it out. Most police officers, I don't think they're allowed to carry with a bullet chambered. They need to chamber. As they chamber, they need to position it and start firing, right?
Yeah.
I used to compete with a firearm, so I understand the principle. I understand what you need to do in order to present that firearm. But he was showing us in training, he would give you a bat and he would say, police officers, you're going to be at the end there, and this is an attacker. And you start running towards them screaming. Within 10 meters, the police officers does not have the time to unclip the weapon, take it out, chamber, take the safety off, present the weapon and change and fire. So he would train his police officers to take a baton instead, to take the retractable baton and smash tibia, smash shin bones.
Yes.
Instead, but those people were getting trained, but they were still in college. They were in police college, right? So what's to say that they'll never use that? It will never happen to them. So by the time that they do, if they ever get in that situation, they won't remember what to do. They won't know. They're just gonna. So they need to be trained better. Police officers need to be trained better, but they also, as they're getting trained in martial art and what to do, especially jiu-jitsu is great for police officers, like a lot of control without having to punch someone. But they also need to, as the confidence grows in their skills to know how to defend themselves, they also need to be shown how to de-escalate situations, where how to speak to people, understand that you're probably meeting that person in the worst day of their lives, and you're expecting them to understand you, to pay attention exactly to what you're saying. You do that every single day. So police officers most often than not meet the people in the worst day of their lives, or in a very bad day, but they don't think about that. Most police officers don't think about that as they're responding to a call. To them, it's just a job. It's something they do every single day. But if you put yourself in the other person's perspective, it is a completely different story. And that's the same reason why you asked me what it is to go to a Jubilee, for example, or the Enemy's Project. The episode just got released today. I go to places that I'm always, as a conservative, it's always left-leaning platforms. And I know what I'm getting into because I'm dealing with lefties. Because just like Charlie Kirk did, people forget that he was doing that for almost 10 years.
For sure.
They don't remember 5 years ago when I started following him, that when he showed up to colleges and universities, there was no people on his side. Everybody was against him.
Right.
Now they look at the videos where you have hundreds, if not thousands, of kids with the MAGA hats, the Charlie Kirk hat. that is a brand new phenomenon. That is 2-3 years in the like that, maybe
Yeah.
2 years. I'm not even sure it's that long. But
No.
people don't understand that he had to show up in enemy territory every single time he was on university ground. And without fighting, I don't think that would be possible for me, at least. That's why I can
No, I
go
don't
to
think
those events, and I'm happy to go. Just because what's the worst you're gonna tell me something? Ooh.
Yeah, right. There's
Ooh,
oh no,
words.
you're gonna
Words.
words
Yeah.
hurt. Oh no.
But you know, at the same time, one of the tricks that a pastor told me about a year ago, he said something. He was praying for me just before I went on Jubilee, and he said something. I don't remember exactly the words that he used, but basically what he said is, give Nico the power to speak to the people. And I've had that in my mind ever since. Every single time I debate someone that I don't agree with, I don't try to change their minds. I
Right.
never try to
Yeah.
convince the person that probably will never be convinced by what I have to say, that already has made up their minds. I'm talking to the people behind the camera. I'm talking to the people that will listen to this later. Those are the people I'm talking to. I'm
Yeah.
putting my views, my values, the proper information so that they can be questioning themselves as in, oh man, okay, maybe there's something else to this subject, to this topic, whatever the conversation's about. So this is a good trick too, because you don't take it personal. If
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to change somebody's mind like they always do in debates,
Yeah.
you're at risk of taking it personal because they're going to attack you. But when you're not trying to convince them, because you know that you can't, you talk to the people that are out there that are going to be listening to that episode. I don't need to tell you how stupid you look when it's recorded. People will see how stupid you look.
Right.
I can just be the calmer person, let you look like an idiot, and then once you're done looking like an idiot, I can tell you what the truth is.
Mm-hmm.
Like it or not, I don't really care, because you're not the one I'm trying to convince.
Right.
I will use you to look like an idiot so that I can come in like a common sense individual and just say, well, okay, but have you thought about this?
Right. Reason with them. Bring data, bring reason. And I think on some level, I think you're right, because when you go into a place where you have this super ego and it's win or loss, and if you lose, the consequences are dire. It's not nearly as dire as getting elbowed in the face at close range 27 times by a 16-year-old TIE fighter. That's, it's like, it's, whatever. But it's like, if you're going in with this intention, like, I'm a Christian, so we talk a lot about, presenting the gospel and wanting people to give their life to Christ and do those things. One of the things that we always discuss in groups is, if you're the one trying to win, then that's why you're under so much pressure, man. It's not it's not about ego. It's not about you winning. It's about just presenting the information that you have, and letting the information marinate or resonate with the people who actually have ears to hear it.
There's a pastor in Alabama gave me a book by Ivan Tate, Tait. I don't know who the guy is. It's called Letters from God. This is the book. And it's basically, there's a passage for every single day. And my favorite one, which is why I do what I do. I don't do what I do because it's easy. I do what I do because I'm told to do that. My job would be a lot easier if I went back to the corporate world than getting hated on every single day of my life. But the name of what they do is that they have a name for the day. Like the one I'm talking about, it's called the Watchman's Trumpet. And then they quote Ezekiel. And basically what it says is, do not be a people pleaser. Do not sell yourself. Do not sell your soul for people's approval. Telling the truth in love is the only thing that can save people. You're responsible for the truth and for all the truth that is available to you. Give it to people as medicine. Those who know the truth and hide it, change it, or withhold it will be accountable to me. You are given a gift of knowing the truth. Blow the watchman's trumpet. Never cheat a person from the truth. When you speak, I will be there with you. I will fill your words with the life and healing. I will give you the wisdom that will leave people speechless. And your words will be like a lifesaver thrown to a drowning world. Save all that you can with the truth. Blow that trumpet. Let it sound throughout the land. let truth reign, give people a chance to be free by introducing them to the pure truth. And one of my buddies in Alabama, very, very big Christian, told me that, Nico, your life is not to stop the Titanic from sinking, because the Titanic is sinking. Your job is to put as many people on lifeboats as possible.
Yep.
How do you do that? By telling the truth, no matter what. And how can you call yourself a Christian and a follower of Jesus Christ if you don't understand that he was so hated that they crucified him, and as God, he let it happen.
Yeah.
He let it happen because he needed to pay for our sins. How can you live? How can you want to be like him or be closer to him or be more like him if you don't understand that from the get-go, becoming a Christian paints a target on your back because you have to tell the truth no matter the consequences. But unfortunately, Christians in North America are way too lukewarm for my taste.
Well, we're pretty beat up. I mean, this is North American Christians are we have a programming that's really has affected us in a negative way. We have, 2 generations of people who have watered down what it really means to follow and to be a disciple of Christ. And, in part, for years we went hard to the net on cultural issues and social issues, which when you're presenting the truth is important, but we haven't always been the most loving in doing so.
100%.
We tend to get, for a long time, we tended to get super arrogant. So when people look at us and they think, oh, you're a Christian, they have this idea of judgmentalism, hypocrisy, these things, because hypocrisy, we don't want to tell the truth when it hurts. We don't want to lead with integrity. We don't want to stand up for the truth with love, because we'll tell the truth from the pulpits. We'll stand on our soapboxes and preach truth, cultural truth, and we've done it for a long time with the sense of arrogance and pride, not so much with love and sacrifice. Now, we're trying to win a culture instead of winning a soul. And we got it wrong for a long time. I think guys like you, guys like me, hopefully, are trying to turn that around, where we're being more spiritually led, presenting the truth in a way that is honorable to Christ. And yeah, you're right, dude. We're gonna suffer persecution for it. But who cares? Like, if they persecuted Jesus, they're not gonna leave us alone if you're doing it right.
If you look at the life Jesus lived, not only was he hated, but where did he spend most of his time? He didn't spend his time with religious people. He didn't spend his time with people that did not need saving. He spent his time with the people that needed most of his attention. And if you translate that to today, what does it mean? Trans would be the ones he spends time with. The drug addicts are the one he would spend time with.
Yep.
The alcoholic, the people, the woke ideology is probably where he would put most of his time.
Yep.
And yet we don't give those people, we don't treat them the way Jesus would, which is why I will go to San Francisco, to LA, to record with extremely woke individuals, because at the end of the day, this is what my God did.
Yeah, that's right.
He spent time with the people that needed his help the most. And he didn't do it by preaching to them necessarily, but he did it from a place of love, always, heart truth. And, I say this to Christians and they don't like it when I say it, but Jesus was, at the end of the day, that guy was not there to make you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
He was there to tell you the truth, save your soul, and tell you that there is something better. And this is what Christianity used to be about. This is why Christianity spread so fast at the beginning, is because we were recognized to be serving others. We were about helping others. I was a Buddhist for almost 12 years before I became a Christian. Buddhism brought me to Christianity. And the main reason why is Buddhism is selfish. It's about reaching enlightenment. It's about me becoming a better person, me being closer to God. Yet Christianity is the complete opposite. They're not asking you to be selfish. On the contrary, they're telling you that you might die to serve others.
Yeah.
How can you not like that? I don't even care that you don't believe that Jesus Christ is real. I don't care you don't believe in the Bible. How can you look at the 10 commandments and remove the one about you shall not covet any other god than me? Remove that one. Remove that one from the equation. Take the 9 out of 10. Tell me that you can disagree with any of those. You can't. They're morals.
Right.
They're not even religion. That's moral. That's a moral code that is tied by spirituality, and the average individual, once they explain it to them properly, will agree with the 9 out of 10. And if you look at Charlie Kirk, that is what he did. First and foremost, he was a Christian. Then he was a husband and a father. But first and foremost, he was a Christian. You look at 99% of his videos, it wasn't about preaching the gospel. He wasn't a preacher. He was there to show you that there is common sense out there, and being a conservative is a good thing. You have nothing to be ashamed to be a conservative.
That's right.
And he gave power to the 16 to 24-year-old that always thought that it was wrong for them to be a conservative because they're in woke indoctrination centers that we call our education system.
Right.
But why did he do it? This is what was so brilliant about Charlie Kirk, and that's why I do it the way that I do. I will never be a preacher. I will never claim to be a preacher, but I'm a bridge builder. I want people to ask themselves, why the hell does he always put himself in those situations that 99.9% of people will not, 99.9% of content creators will not do? Most people don't have the balls to go into enemy territory and have them blast you. And then try, and you have to be the calm one. I'm always the one that needs to be the calm one. If you look on Jubilee Media, I was the only one that was really calm on that show. If you look at the Enemies Project episode that came out today, I had her agree with me by the end. She won't say it on camera, but she admitted that without her grandfather, she wouldn't be where she is today. And her grandfather was the only masculine presence because her two mothers are lesbians. But that was the hardest death, that the most impactful death in her life is her grandfather. So she was about to say that without him, she wouldn't be the woman that she became. And then she stopped herself because she would have had to admit that was right.
She would have had to admit that she needed a masculine figure in her life to have a well-rounded personality.
I push it even further than that. I don't think that having a man by proxy, as I call them, like a friend, an uncle, a cousin, whatever, is enough. The man needs to be in the same household. He needs to be present there every single day.
Look, dude, I had two moms growing up, dude. I know. I get it. Yeah.
So, my son is 2.5 months old, and I already see that my wife and I treat him completely different. We are not the same with him. She would like me to be more gentle with him.
Sure.
I'm a man. I tease him already. He's 2.5 months old. He screams in my face because he wants food. I'm like, oh, the tragedy, as I'm making his food, right? But this is how we are.
Yeah.
Men and women are not the same. We're not supposed to be the same. We're supposed to complement each other, not complete each other. Complement
each other. Yeah, that's right.
And I'm not the same. I'm going to be with you that my wife would be with you, because two dudes and a woman and a dude do not interact the same. Right. I will not treat my son the same way.
Right.
But that is what we need. And to be told by a woman that a man doesn't need to be present when they're raising a boy, I'm like, I feel bad for your boy. And what I told her is, at the end of the day, you guys need to stop making it about yourself and make it about the child, because the statistics will show you that single women do a terrible job at raising children. Single men do a way better job at raising children. So imagine two women, how bad that child is going to turn out. And
no, look, man,
at the end of the day, it's not about you. It's about the child. You're treating that child like an accessory, like a small dog, like a purse, but it's not about your need. It's not about you. It's about what I care about is that child.
Yeah.
Are you giving him all the best chances of becoming a good man? You're not. Plain and simple.
There's a lot of things, man. There's, I look back on my childhood and how I grew up, and only by the grace of God do I even have the kind of worldview or concepts that I have in my head today. I mean, it's like, I grew up with nothing but women. My mom was turned lesbian when I was, I think, 10 or 11 years old. And then so it was like through the 80s and 90s. Before it was cool to have, before then it wasn't, now it's cool, man. If you go to school and you're like, oh yeah, well, I don't have a dad, I have two moms, everybody starts throwing flowers at you and wants, write happy things in your yearbook. Now then it was kind of weird. And so it was, it's not the same, man. You can identify along the way all the things I should have learned on purpose from my father that I had to figure out by accident, through the last 52 years of my life, or last 40 years since he died. So it was like, it's not the same, man. It's not the same. And when I see, I was watching the Jubilee thing with you and the other guys, and I saw the first group of guys sit down, and under their name said, whatever the dude's name is, feminist. And I thought, man, if I saw my name up there with the word feminist underneath it, I would immediately I don't even know how I'd handle myself, because
they didn't show that on camera, but they actually had to surrender their balls before they started
I imagine.
recording. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, they looked like
it's atrocious.
They look like it.
You're not surprised. You're not surprised. The
No.
guy sitting one of the guys sitting on our side was a feminist. And you can tell. The other guy that was sitting to my right, he's like this.
Yeah.
And he's calling himself a masculine man. I'm like, bro, stand up straight.
Yeah.
Stand up
Well,
straight.
you can see those types of guys when they walk into church or when they walk into any kind of room. You can kind of identify them right away when their wife does all the talking. They stand behind her with their heads down and their shoulders all, sunken in. Like they don't have an opinion of their own. They couldn't answer a question. Like you ask them the question, their wife answers it. Then
It's just, there's such hypocrisy in our culture today, because most people agree that a father cannot teach a daughter how to become a woman, that you need a female presence there in order to show her that. But if I say the same thing, which I've been saying for years, a woman cannot teach a boy how to become a man, that's offending, because what are you trying to say, that women can't do what a man can? That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's right.
But I'm also saying that
exactly
a man
right.
cannot teach his daughter how to become a woman.
No.
And you know why single men or single parents do a better job at raising children when they're men compared to women? Because men understand that we can't do that. We know that we need a female presence. There's a lot of things that I cannot do as a man. I'm not going to be there showing emotional intelligence to my son. That's my wife's responsibility.
Yeah.
That's not my responsibility at all. And if, God forbid, something to my wife, I would have somebody take over, because I don't claim to be able to do it. You know what I mean? So I always find the hypocrisy to be quite hilarious, really, because on one side, women agree that a man cannot teach a woman, a daughter, how to become a woman. But then if I have the balls to say that, you know what, I agree, but you can't teach a boy how to become a man either. Oh, no, but we need more boys to be feminine. No, we don't. Because they end up in school filled with ADHD medication, because we're not going to embrace the fact that men and women are not the same. Boys and girls are not the same.
Yeah.
It's just atrocious the way we treat our boys, and then we wonder why they're so broken. We tell them their whole life that they need to behave more like little girls. And then when they become teenager and young men, we tell them that not only do you need to be more like a woman, but the way that you think is toxic, and we don't need you. We don't need you. We don't encourage you. We don't want you around. Yet, like I was saying on that episode of The Enemy's Project, I'm like, without me, the society you enjoy every single day wouldn't exist. If it wasn't for men like me that build this, that will support it, that will do it while stupid feminists like you will call us name. We do it while you're attacking us. Yet if we were to move, somebody told me years ago that if men wanted, every single woman out there would become sex slave, and we would keep them in cages. There's nothing that women can do to stop us. If that's what we want as men, we could literally shove all women in cages and use them as sex slaves. Why do you think that's not happening? Because there's good men like you and I. They're like, hell no, this is not how we treat women. Yet those same women are going to tell us that we oppress them when we give everything to make sure that they're secure, that they're taken care of, that there's no people raping and pillaging like used to happen before.
Dude, idiotic. Trying to feminize men is such a first world problem. It's so convenient that we're trying to teach these young men that they need to be more feminine after all the hard work has already been done. Right? There's not been one war in North America since what, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. Like we've always taken all the wars overseas, right? That's where all the men go to fight, to be in battles, to shed blood. We go there. So it's kind of convenient that since all the men take the fight outwards, and since all the men who founded these countries, Canada and the US, that sent, like, nobody was complaining about how masculine those guys were who shed blood on countless fields across the continent to establish great countries. It's only after the wars stop, only after we start taking the battle other places, where we start feeling confident that we can feminize our men and make them feel guilty for being aggressive or having some kind of masculine tendencies. It's pretty convenient. And it's, you know, if the wars were to come to this shore, to either Canada or the US, we would find out very quickly what the problem with feminizing men is.
You would find out very fast too how women are not really feminists.
That's right.
Who do they call when they're in trouble? A man with a gun.
That's right.
At the end of the day, when they're in trouble, they call a masculine man that's ready to put their life in danger in order to save you. Call them police officers, call them firefighters, call them EMTs. But at the end of the day, the guys that will save you, the people that save other people, are not women. They're men. Of course, there's the fringe of women that do it, but I argue that they probably shouldn't be in those positions in the first place, because most of those women got their job through DEI practices, and they cannot. There's no way in hell that a woman is going to move my 235-pound body.
There's no way.
I would have issues moving a 235-pound body that is unconscious, that it's not helping me.
Right.
I would struggle. It would be a fight for me to do so. So don't give me the attitude that women can do what men can, because they can't. But at the same time, there's a lot of things that women can do that we can't do either.
Take the average ability, though, of, let's say, a modern 21st century man who grew up, you know, in the early 2000s and went through university, and now when he shows up to a battle, he wants to bring his purse with him, right? So take that guy and then put him up against somebody like you, who's a Muay Thai champion. He's going to have, it's an absolute insurmountable mountain that cannot be crested. Like, you can't, that guy is not going to show up to your party and boss you around any more than a 100-pound woman is going to do so. It's like there's no competition there. And I think to be able to recognize that when we show up to places, even as two men, like you're 6'1", 230 pounds, you said? I'm 5'9", 190 pounds. Now I can take care of myself, but I'm not a Muay Thai champion, right? So look, you're going to be a handful for me. Like I'm going to, you know, there's a great chance I lose that, like, quickly. And that's two men talking. Like, that's there's no chance a 100-pound woman shows up to a battle with you and says, "Oh, I think I can take him." There's no way in hell.
It's very, at the same time, as much as we can blame feminism for the problems that we're seeing today, I want to make sure that people understand a lot of the problematic has been possible because of us. We didn't stand up for it. We let this happen. We treated them like little children, and instead of dealing with the problem from the get-go to prevent it from getting bigger, we allowed it to happen because we couldn't be bothered to deal with it.
Yeah, that's
But at
right.
the same time, today, most boys are raised by women. They're not
Mhm.
raised by men. Men cannot walk away from the situation and say it's not my fault. My dad stepped out when he was 14, and I saw him a handful of time. Like
Mhm.
literally, I can count on one hand the amount of time that I saw him. By the time he died, I think I was 29 years old. So in about 15 years, I saw him a handful of time. He
Mhm.
chose not to be there, and this is where my life went.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
But we need to take accountability that we are responsible not only as men to educate and to show other young men and other men what it is to be a man.
Mhm.
Conservatives need to take it on the chin because we did let it happen, and Christians on top of that need to go back, need to get out of their lukewarm Christianity and be ready to be the man they're supposed to be. And if I had one issue with Charlie Kirk, is that he wasn't a masculine man. As much as I love the way he talked, I love the way he debated people. If I chose to make him my girlfriend, he would become my girlfriend. That dude's not fighting himself, but that dude was not fighting. He couldn't fight himself out of a wet paper bag, and that's a problem that I have with a lot of conservatives, a lot of Republicans, a lot of Christian men. They're
Mhm.
weak physically. They are weak.
Yeah.
They're weak physically. They're weak mentally. They might be strong spiritually, but that means that your body and your mind cannot carry your values. It's
Mm.
awesome to have great
That's right.
values, but the day that it gets physical, because one day it will, and you need to be able to take care of yourself to protect your family. Because as much as you could be the best Christian on the planet, you are responsible as a man to protect your family, to protect others, to be a protector is the number one job of a man. And
Mhm.
then it's become, you could argue that being a protector and being a provider is as important, but at the same time, being a provider is not just about providing money. It's about to able to provide a space like the society that we've built where people feel safe, because it is a
Yeah.
proven fact that women do not become good mothers if they feel threatened.
Mhm.
Only when they feel secure will they be the best mother that they can be. So it is our responsibility as fathers to make sure that we create an environment that women feel safe in so that they can be the greatest mother they can be to your children. And it is a fact that children cannot learn in a fight or flight situation. You live in two situations. Mentally, you're either trying to survive, which means you're in a fight or flight mode where all you're
Mhm.
thinking about is how do I survive today? How do I get to my next meal? How do I pay my bills? Once you're out of that, you can learn, but you can never learn when you are in a fight or flight
No, yeah,
mode.
right.
So, but as men, it is our job to create that environment, which is why it was so funny when that lesbian mother's telling me that they don't need men like me, yet you wouldn't have the environment in which you live right now if it wasn't for men doing the shitty job, getting up
Sure.
at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning to fix roads, to fix your car, to fix your house, to build bridges, to protect you
Yeah.
every single day of their life. And you have the audacity to spit in their face and say that they're not important, and they don't quit. They continue doing it because they do it for their families.
Yep.
It's
Right.
amazing the way that we treat our men today. And
Mm.
yet, if it wasn't for masculine men ready to do what needs to get done, no matter what people tell you, this society of ours would crumble. Which is why, guys, if whoever's listening to this, do like be like me. I see guys, let's say at the gym. I go to the gym early sometimes, and I'll see a guy with the yellow vest. You can tell that he's just a normal blue collar. I'll go shake a hand and just say thank you. Thanks for what you're doing, brother. That's it.
Mhm.
I have nothing else to tell you. Just continue doing what you're doing. We need more guys like you.
Yeah, that's
It,
right.
it costs me nothing to do that.
No.
I see guys in their 60s and their 70s that are in as good shape as I am at the gym. I'll go shake their hand and say, you know what? 20 years ago, when I started working out, I saw a guy that was 65 years old with a six pack. And I
Yeah.
said, I want to be that guy. That
That's
guy is
right.
an inspiration to me. So
Yeah.
thank you for doing what you're doing. I call them old lions.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you for doing what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So this is how men can help other men, because I guarantee you those men have never heard that.
No,
They've
right.
never been complimented in the way. And if I were to, because you seem like you're in shape, I can tell you have shoulders, you have traps. So if I were to compliment you, you'd be like kind of taking a like what the what? Thanks, man. But
So
you
is this
don't
guy
know what to
gay?
say.
Is
Yeah,
this guy
exactly.
coming
No,
on to me?
I don't make eye contact.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not something that we're used to. But I
Mhm.
guarantee you that you will change somebody's day, if not somebody's life, by simply saying, bro, I see you. That's it.
Right.
I see you.
I see you. Right. Yep.
Yep.
And then you see contrary to that, you look at some of the relationships that are being challenged right now between, let's say, husbands and wives. And, the woman decided that she wanted an effeminate man as a husband. Maybe that's what she learned growing up, or maybe she learned that in university or whatever. And then she married an effeminate man who couldn't take care of her or protect her. And she's the boss. He listens to her. She knows he can't protect her. She knows this. And then they wonder why they have, marital problems, or they have whatever other problems, because that guy's addicted to porn. He can't take care of her. She doesn't really respect him. Their marriage is a complete disaster. And the remedy for that is, grow a pair, learn how to take care of yourself, be the man God made you to be, and take care of your family, and lead. Because that's the only way that the world goes around in a safe, meaningful manner, is the men are in charge. And
Amen.
that's the way it is. Now, you've fought feminists, you fought your governments, you fought your own demons. What are you trying to conquer now, and how can our audience pray for you?
Civil discourse. I was just approached. It's a shame I just saw the text this morning, but I was just approached by a woman in university. That's happened to me quite a few times in the past, where they want to use a guy like me for their thesis, just to say, a guy that stands up, no matter if they believe what I do or not, it's irrelevant, because I have the balls to actually stand up for what I believe in. But this is how you do it. You stand up for what you believe in, be vocal about it, but understand that you don't need to do what I do. You don't need to be in front of millions of people in order to change society, because society is just a bunch of communities connected together. It's just a bunch of people that agrees that we're going to live under the same rules. That's what a society is. And then you break it down to communities. So be involved locally. Know who your school board members are. Know who sits on your city board, who's the mayor, who's the people that work for him. Look at what their policies are. Meet people that are actually running your town. Find out who they are. Can you agree with them? Is there something that they need from you? Serve others at the end of the day, but you can do it locally. You don't need to do that the way I do it. I just have a gift that I'm meant to be in front of a camera. At the end of the day, that's what I'm told to do, so that's what I do.
Yeah.
But I think it's important above all, and that's what I'm trying to do, is to create civil discourse. I put myself in those situations. I record with an atheist liberal every single day, 5 times a week, 2 hours a day. We go live. We talk about whatever's trending in the news and culture. And we try to find, we're not there to debate each other. We're there to find common ground.
That's a great show, by the way, man.
Yeah. And you know what we've recorded about 165 episodes in the past 7 months. And we've come to realize that we agree on basically every single problem. We agree that there's a problem. The big difference between him and I is that we disagree on the solution. I'm always more conservative solution. Sure. He believes in more of a socialist solution, but I would argue that 80 to 90% of the time we agree that there's a problem, but to which extent do we deal with that problem is where him and I disagree. But if people out there can understand that, you look at the bell curve, for example, and it shows that around 65 to 70% of people sit somewhere in the middle politically, maybe left of middle, in the middle, or right of middle, that stop listening to the fringe, the 2-15% on each end that are the crazies that get the most audience because they're crazy, and focus on the fact, instead of concentrating on what you disagree with people, try to find common ground and see that probably 70-80% of things you agree with. And I always compare that to a score that you get on an exam in school. If you keep on getting 80% for the average person is a good grade. We'll be happy with getting 80%. Can you imagine if we saw our relationship with others we disagree with on an 80% passing grade, saying, I agree with that guy 80%, but the 20% takes us away from the 80. So how about we agree on the 80 so that we can discuss the 20% with respect through civil discourse? That's what I want.
That's a good point. Yeah. Well, and I agree with that, man, wholeheartedly. You have your podcast is The Political Orphans.
I record a bunch. Though.
Yeah, you record a bunch.
Content for a living, right? So they can find me at the Political Orphans on YouTube, at the Poly Orphans on YouTube, but at Real Nico Lagan on every single platform I'm on there.
Yep, and as usual, I'll have everything in the show notes and everywhere else as this thing rolls out. Nico, I appreciate you joining the Jake Giffin Podcast today.
Thanks for having me on, brother. Great talking to you.
If you enjoyed this show, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. For more information about Jake, log on to jakegiffin.com and find him on all social media platforms. Until next time, peace and power be yours.